Labor is accusing Prime Minister Scott Morrison of double standards, saying he must self-isolate after Peter Dutton tested positive to COVID-19. Let's go live now to Julia Bradley for more on this developing story. Julia, why isn't the Prime Minister self-isolating?
Well, Minister Dutton was in a meeting with the entire cabinet, including Prime Minister Scott Morrison, on Tuesday. But as we've just heard from the Chief Medical Officer, Brendan Murphy, no one needs to self-isolate or even be tested for coronavirus because at that stage, Minister Dutton was not symptomatic. Now, yesterday we saw that statement from the Minister's office saying that he had woken up with a temperature and a sore throat, quickly presenting to Queensland health authorities, who then confirmed that he had contracted coronavirus. He remains in isolation at a Brisbane hospital, but Shadow Health Minister Chris Bowen is now heading out at the Prime Minister, saying that he is practicing double standards and even sending mixed messages, urging him to self-isolate and set an example because of the close contact he's had with Minister Dutton.
It is not appropriate that there's any double standards at play. It's not appropriate that there are any different rules put in place for the Prime Minister of the Cabinet than every other Australian. There's plenty of Australians, whether they've been on the Diamond Princess or come from overseas or have been in close contact, who have had to self-isolate out of an abundance of precaution. It is not good enough for Scott Morrison to do as I say, not as I do. He must lead by example.
Now, also in developing news, the daughter of US President Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, she's now working from home as a precaution after also coming into contact with Minister Dutton. We know that the minister was recently in Washington, D.C. for a meeting on child exploitation. Ivanka was at that meeting, as were a number of other Trump aides, including Kellyanne Conway. We saw that picture from the Australian ambassador in the United States of the group all in very close proximity. But a statement from the White House has been released. It reads, exposures from the case were assessed and the White House medical unit confirmed Ivanka is exhibiting no symptoms and does not need to self-quarantine. She worked from home today out of an abundance of caution until guidance was given. Now, Minister Dutton says he feels fine at this stage and will be providing another update on his condition in due course.
OK, Julia Bradley, appreciate the update.